In the fast-paced world of American politics, moments of sharp contrast between leaders often reveal more than long speeches ever could. Recently, a striking scene unfolded when former President Barack Obama delivered a calm and composed response that not only highlighted his signature poise but also drew laughter from the judge, while once again putting Donald Trump in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. This moment quickly spread across media platforms, sparking debates, memes, and discussions about the stark differences in leadership style, temperament, and the ability to command respect under pressure. Obama's calmness became a weapon of wit, showing how grace under fire can overshadow bluster, leaving Trump mocked and judged in the court of public opinion. Barack Obama's ability to remain calm and composed under pressure has long been one of the hallmarks of his leadership, and it continues to stand as a defining contrast in the political arena. When faced with criticism, difficult questions, or even moments designed to provoke, Obama has consistently demonstrated that maintaining composure not only strengthens credibility but also enhances the effectiveness of his message. In moments where others may lose their temper or rush into defensive outbursts, he chooses patience, measured words, and thoughtful responses. This quality is what has allowed him to maintain respect from both allies and critics alike, and it is exactly what played out in the situation where his calm demeanor not only dismantled an attempt at mockery but also turned the tables in a way that left the judge laughing and observers reflecting on the value of restraint. Calmness in leadership is not about silence or avoidance, it is about mastering the art of control and using it as a strategic tool to disarm opponents without appearing aggressive or insecure. Throughout his political career, Obama has been placed in countless scenarios where pressure could easily have rattled him. From his presidential debates to press conferences and interviews, he faced opponents who attempted to provoke him with sharp jabs, accusations, or deliberate interruptions. Instead of rising to the bait, he often countered with a smile, a pause, and then words that carried weight precisely because they were delivered without visible frustration. This is where leadership under pressure truly comes into play. Leaders are constantly under a microscope, and every reaction they display becomes amplified for public consumption. An uncontrolled outburst or a visibly flustered response can do more damage than the criticism itself. Obama's refusal to let pressure dictate his tone allowed him to maintain control of the narrative, which is a quality that distinguishes strong leadership from reactive politics. The ability to remain calm under pressure also projects confidence. People naturally look to leaders not just for solutions but for stability in moments of chaos or uncertainty. When the public sees a leader remain calm in the face of provocation, it inspires trust because it signals that the leader is not easily shaken. Obama mastered this projection of quiet confidence, and it is one reason why even those who disagreed with his policies often admitted to admiring his composure. This contrasts sharply with figures like Donald Trump, whose frequent heated reactions and aggressive rhetoric create a sense of volatility rather than reassurance. By staying calm, Obama highlights the essence of what leadership should represent: clarity, strength, and control in turbulent times. Another aspect of his composure is the way it allows him to use humor and wit strategically. Rather than retaliating in anger, he often uses a subtle joke or light-hearted remark that both disarms the opponent and wins over the audience. This style of response can turn a potentially hostile moment into one that leaves an impression of intelligence and self-assurance. In the incident where his calm reply drew laughter from the judge, it was not about confrontation but about gracefully exposing the weakness in his opponent's approach. Humor delivered through composure has far more impact than loud, aggressive counterattacks, and it often leaves the other side appearing petty or flustered. Obama's wit, grounded in calmness, has repeatedly shown how a leader can win arguments without needing to raise their voice. Calm leadership under pressure also has broader implications beyond political theater. It reflects an understanding of emotional intelligence, which is increasingly recognized as a vital quality in effective leaders. Emotional intelligence involves the ability to manage one's own emotions while also understanding and influencing the emotions of others. Obama's calmness demonstrates high emotional intelligence because he not only manages his own reactions but also shapes the atmosphere of the room. A judge laughing, an audience softening, or critics rethinking their approach, all of these outcomes stem from his ability to manage emotions through restraint and thoughtful delivery. Emotional intelligence in leadership builds stronger connections, reduces conflicts, and sets an example for others to follow. The value of composure becomes even clearer when viewed against the backdrop of modern political culture, where aggressive soundbites and emotional outbursts often dominate headlines. In such an environment, the calm and measured leader stands out more strongly because they embody the opposite of the chaos that defines much of political discourse. Obama's demeanor consistently drew attention not for being flashy but for being steady, and that steady presence allowed him to win long-term respect rather than short-lived applause. When leaders respond to provocation with calmness, they show that they are thinking not about the immediate moment but about the bigger picture. They refuse to let the urgency of confrontation distract them from the importance of principle. It is also worth noting that calm leadership under pressure sets a standard for diplomacy and negotiation. In international relations, where stakes are often far higher than domestic political battles, the ability to remain composed can prevent conflicts from escalating. Obama's calm style made him a reliable partner in diplomacy, capable of engaging adversaries without losing sight of America's interests. This approach fostered trust and created room for dialogue where hot-headedness might have closed doors. Leaders who can maintain composure in such settings not only protect their nation's reputation but also strengthen its ability to achieve long-term goals. For ordinary people watching these interactions, the lesson is equally powerful. Calmness under pressure is not just a political trait but a personal skill that can shape careers, relationships, and reputations. By seeing a public figure like Obama model this quality, individuals are reminded that restraint is not weakness but strength. The ability to pause, think, and then respond thoughtfully is what separates those who lead with influence from those who lead with noise. People are drawn to calm leaders because they offer reassurance in uncertain times and demonstrate that solutions are possible without unnecessary drama. The fact that Obama's calm reply left a judge laughing underscores the effectiveness of this approach in even the most formal settings. Laughter in a courtroom is not common, and yet his composure created a moment where authority figures themselves recognized the power of wit delivered through calm confidence. That moment highlighted that leadership is not just about making points but about creating impressions that last. A calm and composed leader leaves behind echoes of respect, even when the confrontation itself fades from memory. And it is those lasting impressions that shape legacies, influence public opinion, and redefine what it means to lead under the spotlight of scrutiny. Donald Trump has often been at the center of public attention for his bold statements, combative tone, and controversial behavior, but what has become increasingly evident is how his repeated mockery contrasts so sharply with the dignity and composure shown by leaders like Barack Obama. The cycle of Trump being mocked, whether by opponents, commentators, or even in legal and public settings, is not simply about personality differences, it reveals a deeper divide between two distinct approaches to leadership. On one hand is the bluster, marked by loudness, exaggeration, and a reliance on constant confrontation to dominate headlines. On the other hand is grace, embodied by calm responses, thoughtful remarks, and a refusal to let provocation dictate behavior. This contrast has become a recurring theme in modern political culture, and each new moment only reinforces the power of grace over bluster. Trump's style of communication has always been rooted in provocation. His speeches, interviews, and social media presence are often filled with sharp insults, mocking nicknames, and deliberate attempts to belittle opponents. While this approach energizes his base and secures him relentless media coverage, it also leaves him vulnerable to ridicule when faced with opponents who refuse to engage on the same level. Barack Obama's calm replies, delivered with wit and composure, have repeatedly highlighted how bluster can backfire when contrasted with grace. Instead of meeting Trump's mockery with anger, Obama has often used patience and humor, and this response not only neutralizes Trump's aggression but also turns it against him, making him appear desperate for attention rather than in control of the conversation. This pattern illustrates a crucial difference in leadership styles. Bluster seeks dominance by volume, but grace seeks influence through persuasion. A loud, mocking comment may win a moment of attention, but a calm, thoughtful reply earns respect and leaves a longer-lasting impact. When Obama answers mockery without losing composure, he demonstrates that true strength lies not in the ability to shout the loudest but in the ability to stay grounded. This becomes especially evident when public figures like judges, moderators, or even general audiences respond more favorably to Obama's measured approach. A laugh from a judge or applause from an audience is not just a reaction to words but to the contrast in tone and presence. The more Trump resorts to mockery, the more he reinforces the difference between the two approaches, and the more obvious it becomes that bluster lacks the depth and staying power of grace. The repetition of Trump's mockery also undermines its effectiveness over time. While his sharp jabs and insults may shock or amuse initially, the pattern quickly becomes predictable. Once people expect mockery, it loses its ability to surprise, and instead it exposes an inability to move beyond confrontation. By contrast, Obama's grace gains momentum precisely because it is consistent and rooted in composure. Each calm reply adds to his reputation as a leader who cannot be rattled, while Trump's repeated reliance on mockery erodes the seriousness of his own message. In this way, the contrast is not simply between two individuals but between two legacies, one built on restraint and lasting respect, the other on noise and fleeting attention. Public reactions further highlight this divide. In political debates, interviews, or even courtroom exchanges, audiences are not only listening to the words spoken but also evaluating the manner in which they are delivered. Trump's mockery often generates headlines, but Obama's grace generates admiration, and admiration ultimately has more influence in shaping public opinion. People may laugh at a mocking insult in the moment, but they remember the calm and thoughtful leader who responded with dignity. It is this memory that defines leadership in the long run. When judges laugh at Obama's calm reply in contrast to Trump's bluster, it is a reflection of how even authority figures respond more positively to composure than to aggression. The contrast also extends beyond individuals and into the larger conversation about what kind of leadership the public values. In an era saturated with social media, where outrage and noise dominate feeds, the ability to remain calm has become rarer and therefore more powerful. Trump's mockery fits neatly into the culture of online trolling and aggressive soundbites, but Obama's grace cuts through the noise because it offers something different, a reminder that leadership can be intelligent, measured, and dignified. This difference is why moments where Obama responds calmly to Trump's mockery go viral. They offer audiences relief from the chaos and a glimpse of what leadership looks like when it rises above personal attacks. Trump's repeated mockery also inadvertently strengthens Obama's image. By constantly targeting Obama, Trump keeps him relevant in public discourse, but Obama's refusal to engage on the same level only amplifies his reputation as unshakable. The more Trump mocks, the more Obama's calmness stands out as admirable, creating a cycle in which bluster only serves to highlight grace. Instead of undermining Obama, Trump's tactics often elevate him, showing how mockery can backfire when the target refuses to be dragged into the mud. This pattern demonstrates the limitations of mockery as a political tool. It may entertain supporters, but it cannot win the respect of undecided audiences, nor can it change the perception of those who value composure. Beyond politics, the lesson of this contrast resonates with people in their personal and professional lives. Many have witnessed situations where someone resorts to loud criticism or mockery to assert dominance, only to be outshined by another who responds with calm confidence. Obama's example serves as a reminder that grace is not only a political strategy but also a life skill. The ability to remain composed when mocked or attacked is a demonstration of self-control, and it often leaves the aggressor looking weaker rather than stronger. Trump's repeated mockery provides a clear illustration of this principle in action. The more he mocks, the more others admire the calm figure who refuses to engage on the same terms. Media coverage of these moments reinforces the contrast further. Clips of Obama's calm replies circulate widely, often paired with headlines about Trump being mocked again. The juxtaposition creates a narrative that favors composure over bluster, making it difficult for Trump to control the story even when he initiates the confrontation. The media thrives on contrast, and in this case, the contrast consistently favors Obama's grace. Trump's mockery may dominate the immediate headlines, but the enduring image is that of Obama's calm demeanor, leaving audiences impressed and judges laughing. This media dynamic shows how bluster may capture attention, but grace wins lasting influence. Ultimately, the recurring theme of Trump being mocked in contrast to Obama's calmness is more than political theater, it is a reflection of broader societal values. It demonstrates that people instinctively respect leaders who embody grace under fire and tire of those who rely solely on mockery to stay relevant. The pattern of Trump's repeated mockery highlights the emptiness of bluster, while Obama's composed replies fill that emptiness with substance, wit, and dignity that continue to resonate with audiences long after the exchange has ended. Public and judicial reactions to political exchanges often reveal more about the effectiveness of leadership styles than the words themselves. When Barack Obama responds to provocation with calm wit and composure, it does more than silence the immediate critic, it sets in motion a chain of reactions that highlight the enduring power of grace over aggression. The laughter of a judge, the applause of an audience, or the nods of agreement from commentators all serve as reflections of how people naturally gravitate toward those who maintain dignity under pressure. In contrast, when Donald Trump leans on mockery and bluster, the reactions tend to be mixed. His supporters cheer the insults, but many others see them as shallow, repetitive, and unworthy of the seriousness of leadership. These responses from both the public and institutions like the judiciary underscore the timeless truth that wit rooted in composure resonates far more deeply than aggression fueled by ego. A courtroom or any setting where judges preside carries a weight of authority. Laughter in such an environment is not given lightly, which makes it all the more striking when a calm reply from Obama can elicit that reaction. It demonstrates that his words do more than defend him, they shift the atmosphere entirely. Judges, known for their formality, are not immune to recognizing and appreciating sharp wit delivered with restraint. Their reaction reflects how even figures tasked with neutrality can be influenced by the elegance of a well-timed response. It shows that respect is earned not only through titles and power but through the way one carries themselves under scrutiny. Obama's ability to make even authority figures laugh without disrespecting the setting illustrates the profound impact of composure in action. The public response follows a similar pattern. People watching political exchanges often find themselves comparing not only the arguments but the personalities and temperaments of those involved. Trump's frequent mockery and sharp insults might generate laughter among his base, but they rarely win over undecided observers. Instead, many viewers interpret his approach as aggressive and unnecessarily hostile. Obama's calmness, by contrast, appeals across a broader spectrum. Those who admire dignity see his responses as examples of self-control, while those who appreciate humor see his wit as evidence of intelligence. The fact that both groups can find something to admire in his demeanor strengthens his influence. Public opinion is shaped not only by what is said but by how it is said. And in this respect, Obama consistently earns reactions that build his reputation rather than diminish it. The reactions also reveal something about the collective fatigue with aggressive political discourse. In an age dominated by social media, where shouting matches and online insults often dominate the narrative, people are hungry for moments of calm wit and intelligence. Obama's composed replies stand out precisely because they are different from the chaos that surrounds much of public life. When a calm answer produces laughter or admiration, it feels refreshing and authentic, reminding people that leadership can be graceful rather than combative. Trump's reliance on mockery, while effective at energizing supporters, feels increasingly repetitive and exhausting to broader audiences. Public reactions highlight this fatigue, as more people express admiration for leaders who rise above the noise rather than adding to it. Judicial reactions carry additional weight because they come from individuals trained to evaluate arguments objectively. A judge laughing at Obama's calm response does not signal bias but rather an acknowledgement of the strength of his delivery. It demonstrates that wit delivered with poise can penetrate even the most formal of settings, disarming tension without undermining authority. This kind of reaction validates the idea that composure is not just a personal quality but a strategic advantage. If even a judge can be swayed by the elegance of calm wit, then the broader public is even more likely to be influenced. Such moments reinforce the perception that grace under pressure is not merely admirable but effective in shaping outcomes. The media also plays a crucial role in amplifying these reactions. Clips of judges laughing or audiences applauding spread quickly, often with headlines that emphasize Trump being mocked once again. These stories capture public imagination because they dramatize the contrast between bluster and grace. People are drawn to moments where wit triumphs over aggression, and media coverage ensures that such moments live far beyond the immediate exchange. The cycle of reaction, amplification, and discussion turns a single calm reply into a broader narrative about leadership, reinforcing the perception that wit delivered with composure is more impactful than aggression delivered with volume. Reactions from international audiences further expand the significance of these moments. Leaders and citizens in other countries observe these exchanges as reflections of American political culture. When they see Obama calmly dismantling mockery and winning over judges or audiences with grace, it strengthens the image of the United States as capable of producing thoughtful, dignified leadership. Conversely, Trump's reliance on mockery often raises concerns about volatility and unpredictability. The global audience's reaction underscores how leadership styles are not confined to domestic politics but shape international perceptions as well. A calm reply that draws laughter in a courtroom may also draw respect across borders, while aggressive mockery may fuel doubt about credibility on the world stage. The psychological aspect of these reactions is also worth noting. People are wired to admire self-control and to distrust excessive aggression. When someone remains calm under provocation, it signals strength, because it shows they are not easily shaken. The audience, whether in a courtroom or watching at home, feels reassured by such displays of confidence. Aggression, on the other hand, may generate fear or excitement, but it rarely inspires lasting trust. This is why Obama's composure draws admiration, while Trump's mockery often leaves him open to ridicule. Public and judicial reactions are not just about entertainment, they are reflections of deeply rooted human instincts about what qualities make someone worthy of leadership. These reactions also shape the legacies of both figures. History tends to remember not the loudest insults but the most graceful comebacks. The moments when Obama's calm replies drew laughter or admiration are likely to be retold as examples of wit triumphing over bluster. Trump's mockery, however, risks being remembered as noise that overshadowed substance. Legacies are built not only on policies but on the impressions leaders leave in the minds of people, and reactions from judges, audiences, and the broader public are central to shaping those impressions. The calm reply that earns respect becomes part of a legacy of grace, while the mockery that invites ridicule becomes part of a legacy of bluster. Ultimately, the way people respond, to laugh at composure, to applaud dignity, or to dismiss aggression, shows that wit grounded in calmness carries a power that aggression cannot match. Judges, audiences, and the wider public serve as mirrors, reflecting the strengths and weaknesses of those who seek to lead. In this reflection, Obama's calm replies consistently shine brighter, while Trump's mockery becomes a shadow of its own making.